Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, Harpal Khosla.
Hey, nice to be. That was like a light switch.
Turn it on.
You're like a professional radio host. I was not ready for that.
Listen, I'm zoned in. I'm here. All right, my coffee is still like I'm probably hitting the peak of my caffeination right now, and then I'll slump as soon as this is done. So I'll need to power back on.
I just had refried beans, so I'll have to take a shit after this.
I'll probably have to take a shit.
Yeah. So do I have to mention the movie, or do you mention the movie?
Yeah,
I didn't mean to get meta all of a sudden.
We can listen, this podcast, if nothing else, is a great place to get meta. And you would like to, you hit me up.
Yeah.
With thank God, a movie in mind already that you wanted to talk about, which is, apparently it's like, nobody does that with this podcast because there's so many episodes. Well, yeah, there's just like, I mean, we're in the 200s now, so a lot of movies have been done, even though there's tons of movies.
That's insane. I would have thought people would have come in with like an axe to grind.
Usually people do.
They just send you
but
like
as I've done it longer and longer, more and more people, like the movie that they would do has been done already, or sometimes people are like, I don't really hate movies. And it's just like, of course, don't lie to yourself. Of course you hate movies.
You should record one with one that's already done, and then if it's better, you just replace it.
You know what?
You just pretend it happened.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah. It's like a fitness challenge.
Yeah, that's
who can roast the movie better.
Yeah. Who can do it? But you came in hot with the movie. You slid into my DMs, ready to talk, and you wanted to talk about Incredibles 2.
Yes. I wanted to talk about it. I saw Kyle talking about Uncut Gems over Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, this is a great opinion." I fucking hate Incredibles 2. I bother everybody about how much I hate that movie.
So why do you hate it so much?
Because I should put like an I hate movies that I feel like give up in the middle. Like I hated A Star Is Born, but not because I hated it all the way through, because I think at the halfway point in A Star Is Born, the movie gives up on being a movie. And I think Incredibles 2 gives up on like whatever it was trying to do. Like it was like it felt like, have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I just rewatched it literally right before we got in. I've seen it twice now. I saw it in theaters and then I saw it here again.
I think that movie because it's like, the dad's like supposed to learn something in the movie about like family, and he learns it in the first movie, but he just gives up on the idea in the middle and just hires a babysitter to help his fucking baby out, you know? Mm-hmm. And like the parts I like about the movie are just like this dad who's like really like he's doing like a Louis bit, like he's like fucking sad and depressed, and he's like lurched over and he doesn't know what to do, and his eyes are as baggy as his like depressed daughter, and like he's fucking just down, and I'm like, oh, this is great. How are you gonna deal with depression? Oh, you hired a fucking babysitter? Uh-huh. What the fuck? Why is this the way you saw the movie? And then I rewatched it last night because I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And I'm like, no, I'm right. The movie just like reeks of like improv. Like they just made up everything as they went along. Like they like the story just like starts out with like, all right, like, okay, well, they're going to do the bank robbery. And then they run out of conflict again. They're like, well, what if superheroes are illegal? It's like, well, didn't we already do that? No, we'll just do it again. It's okay.
Just do it again.
And then like the guy who wants to bring superheroes back just notices them on the street to start the story. Mm-hmm. Like just all of a sudden, like it's like in the last one, it was a guy's plot that he'd been building over the course of years because of a vendetta he had with his dad. And the other one, he just like noticed them on the street. So he's like, well, what if we bring the supers back? Like, it's like everything just like reeks of just making it up on the fly.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, this is it's so critically acclaimed, and I'll say this: I watched it in theaters when it was out, and I enjoyed it in theaters, and I watched it again just now, and I did not enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
It's definitely become the kind of movie that it's like, okay, I'm all right with having this on in the background while I do other stuff and not really pay attention, which is not a place that I'd like a movie to be. I would like to be able to be so captivated by the movie that I'm zeroed in and focusing the whole time.
Right.
And there's so much that is like it's not a carbon copy of the first movie, because the first movie was really fun and inventive and dark.
Yeah.
Oh, all the syndrome stuff is so fucking dark.
Yeah. No, you're 100%. Like, he's like, I mean, it's like also like Brad Bird's like an Ayn Rand person, I think. 'Cause like all his movies where he's like, if you're special, you should stay special. And then like the villain in the last movie is like, if everyone's special, no one's special.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
like,
well, that's why, I mean, Brad Bird's first movie, The Ayn Rand Giant, that's a classic of of animated cinema.
yeah.
I'm
mean,
so
like,
glad.
that's really funny. Ayn Rand Giant.
But that's the thing is like, so Brad
the
Bird
robot
wrote,
just shrugs a bunch
Oh, yeah,
all the
he's just
time.
shrugging.
He's just like, and he like keeps pointing at a like little girder that says Atlas, and he's like, "You get it?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Do you get it, children who are watching this movie?" Nah,
He just keeps writing a sign of the dollar in a junkyard.
So Brad Bird, he you know, obviously The Incredibles, super critically acclaimed, part of the Pixar like up and coming set. And a lot of the Pixar sequels really sort of lost the thread. Incredibles 2, I do think it's got some merit, but you're right. Like, there's something to it. And I don't know, like, what was your experience like watching this movie the first time?
I like watched it and then I liked it and then I got to the end of the movie and I was like, you know what I felt? I felt like that movie is really good at spinning plates because I was entertained throughout, but then I drove home and I was like, I feel like I just like looked at nihilism. Like I just for like the like end of the movie, it was just about nothing, you know? It like hit me how fully that movie was about nothing. And I compared it to like my feelings when I watched the first Incredibles, where it's like you felt like making art afterwards. You're like, oh no, I'm special, like Mr. Incredible. Like I have something to say. But after that movie, I'm like, what is this? Is it about lawlessness? Is it about how the law is wrong? Because is the law also correct? Because the corporations are wrong? But then the corporations are also correct because then the brother's a nice person? Like, it's all over the fucking place with its morality. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it really does. It veers into wild directions because it's like, it's a thing that's supposed to be about like, we're trying to rehabilitate the image of superheroes. We want to bring them back for this new age. But then there's like a whole subplot that involves just like, oh, people are fucking stupid and we should just let people be stupid and take advantage of their stupidity.
Like that is a kind of theme in the movie almost. It's like my friend put it this way. He's like it was really interesting to watch two women grow a friendship and then ultimately the movies say that women can't be friends.
They wanted to spit in the face of the Bechdel test.
It was so like because I was so invested in their friendship and then it's like no, they're still gonna argue. I was like, what the fuck? I really liked their friendship.
Because this is, I mean, there's a lot in this movie that is so telegraphed too, and I think that relationship flipping and Evelyn Dever becoming the villain, becoming Screenslaver and revealing herself, you could tell that shit was going to happen like from the beginning. There's something wrong with this brother-sister duo.
They do that with like all Disney movies. Like the person they introduce that you like or is positive ends up being like the betrayer in the end of the movie. They did in Wreck-It Ralph too. I know that's not Pixar, but like the Candy King, right? The Candy King is like the they always do that. They do it in Marvel movies too. Like it's all the same thing. They're like, yeah, you liked this. We made them charismatic, and then they turn on you. You know?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with Pixar is like Pixar movies. I think in general are made for children, of course, and I think that they are structured in a way that gets kids acclimated to what good story structure is supposed to look like in a movie, right?
And that's what I like about them. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of movies where you take that solid structure and then you build upon it with really great characters and funny dialogue and like great physical comedy, and then also they've got heart to them. The problem has come when Pixar fell prey, I think, to the sequel problem. Yeah. That's what happened. Like, I haven't seen a lot of Pixar sequels. I don't really, besides the Toy Story sequels, which I do think hold up.
I think those get better too. Like the third one's like, because like it's like each one seems to be about like progression in childhood. Although I don't remember Toy Story 2 that well.
Toy Story 2 I really like because it's sort of about celebrity.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's almost like toy nostalgia too. Mm-hmm. Like collectors stuff, like it's like critiquing that, like it's like toys are functionally for fun, they're not supposed to be like collected. It's like kind of anti-capitalist in a way.
And I love the way that the Toy Story movies grow with the audience. Right. The problem is especially in Incredibles 2, the story doesn't really grow with the audience. You know, like it just becomes a split version of the first movie where it's like instead of following Mr. Incredible, we're following Elastigirl for the superhero stuff. And then Mr. Incredible's back just stuck with the kids again, and he's being very sad, and he's trying to be super dad, and he can't do it. And sure, like, you can have all the fun, funny montages and interesting animation you want, but it doesn't make the story feel, like, vital and unique the way that Incredibles did.
Yeah, it doesn't make it functional, right? Like, it doesn't have a center to it. And if there's one thing that a children's story should have, it's like morality to it. It's not like Uncut Gems where you can have like a 70s ass ending and you just shoot like Mr. Incredible in the forehead or something, you know? Like you can't just like look at the like Porky Pig can't like look at the screen and go like everything means nothing, children. And then like credits. You got leave them with something, you know? Like it's gotta mean something. You can't just like let them watch like a depressed father and then basically tell the kids like lay off your dad. Like that's what the movie felt like. It's like fucking lay off your dad. And it's like no, but he should be a better person. He killed a lot of people when he tried to stop a drill.
Yeah.
Which also that guy got away with it. The drill guy, he got away with it.
Yeah.
He got the money and left. And also, he probably broke even, because I don't think he got enough money to pay for that drill.
Right. That drill is real expensive. There's no way, like, unless he did a deal with whatever Elon Musk clone is in the Incredibles universe to get, like, a drill for his tunneling shit. There's no way that this was an easy purchase for the Underminer.
No, fuck no. It probably costed more than the boat at the very end. Like, the Underminer makes more than the billionaire in the movie, for sure. He's like Jeff Bezos or something. Like, he's like, I started with drones and then I thought ground instead. Like, it's like insane. Also, one of the things I thought was really funny about the movie was, like, the guy sent his driver after Frozone. Remember that at the very beginning? Yeah. And the driver came out, and he came out with these fucking, like, beautiful blue eyes. And he's like, don't you wish it could be different? And then I'm like, what? Is this character going to stay? Because he's immediately captivating. He's, like, immediately, like, he had me, like, I'm like, no, what? This the rest of the movie can just be you two, like, having a gay relationship. Like, I can enjoy that. Just like Frozone leaves his wife for this chauffeur.
Yeah, that would
be
great.
Feel that?
That's the thing. There's interesting plots and interesting characters in this movie that did not get explored. All right, I remember when Incredibles came out. Underminer was he's the cliffhanger at the end of the movie, right? Like, there's something interesting about him. Cool. I would love to see where his story goes. Instead, he just gets thrown away. Yeah, he gets away with it, and then nobody follows through on it ever again.
I think you can fucking tell when a movie is making it up as they go along. With every character drop, there's a character drop every like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Because they introduce the teleportation girl and like the reflux guy and all of them, and then it's like every time you introduce a new character, you're like, there's a bandwidth to my empathy. You know?
Yeah. Is
like,
is that where the movie fell apart for you? Like in that sequence?
No, it fell apart for me exactly like where it fell apart for me was like when I watched it again, I liked it, but then I'm like, I was going home and I'm like, I know when I just got sold a bad car. Like
you bought a lemon.
Yeah, I bought a Pinto and it's gonna explode when I get it back. like I know when like is a dud. Like it grifted me because I think Brad Bird's a really talented entertainer because I think he watched a bunch of like. He just watched a bunch of like 50s cartoons. He's like, what if they just were more entertaining? Like, he can spin plates really well.
Right.
But like the part where the movie falls apart for me is when the dad gives the baby to Edna. Like it's super entertaining, but it's exactly the wrong thing to do because he's supposed to sit down and he's supposed to like solve math problems with his kid again, talk to his daughter, have an emotional conversation. But he avoids all of that and instead gets a babysitter like they did in the first fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. And this time it's just the babysitter also knows how to make super suits.
Yeah, it's also like she fucking made goggles that can like look into a fourth dimension and you make costumes for a living? Mm-hmm. You should be a superhero. You should be a supervillain in the third movie.
Yeah.
At the very least.
This is it's like, I feel...
You're right about the interesting characters. They just pop up and then leave.
That's the thing too is like... Everybody, I even remember when Incredibles came out, everybody loved Edna Mode, right?
Yeah.
She's probably besides Syndrome, the most like well-regarded, entertaining character in the whole thing, and complex too. Like clearly she's got layers.
Yeah,
there's so many.
I bet she went to like France. She has a story about the red light district.
Yeah. She's well-traveled. She's clearly fucking really rich beyond anyone's wildest dreams.
She's either sociably lesbian or fully lesbian. One of the two, you know.
Right, yeah.
She's the kind of rich where she's like, I'll try anything.
Right. She can afford to try anything.
Right, anything once.
But this is the thing. It's like if where Toy Story gets it right, I think, as far as the sequels go, is that it does grow and evolve, and the story sort of compounds on itself. Incredibles 2 doesn't do that. Incredibles 2 takes the opportunity that it presents us with to compound on itself and grow, and just says, we're just gonna give you a different version of the same story from the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and because, well, it's not even, it'd be fine maybe even if it was just a rehash of the other story. I'd be like, okay, Brad Bird has an axe to grind with socialism, I guess. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it feels to me like it just doesn't even have a point, you know? Like, because it's like, remember the scene where they're eating Chinese food and it feels like it's establishing all of their arcs?
Yes.
You know? Like, it's like they're sitting there and the children are like, well, what? Are we good or are we not? Like, it's all the questions that the audience has. It's like, didn't we fucking sell this in the last movie? Like, just pick up the pace. Like, the superheroes are allowed again. That's what the ending frames of the last movie said to me. It was like, oh, well, superheroes are back.
Right.
Like, all's good in the world.
Everything's going to be great, and we're going to have these superheroes back again. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And then you spend half an hour retreading that. They're like, no, there's a lot of litigation. It's like in the Star Wars prequels where you have to sit through court scenes and you're like, I'm 10. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
You're like, I don't give a shit about litigation. Or like, what? They have to go to neutral waters to sign a bill? Why is the final act on a boat? I don't give a fuck about boats.
Right.
Like, put it in a city again where people are in trouble, not billionaires.
Yeah. Keep the action sequences going and don't keep us with all the litigation and the handshaking. And the I don't need any of that.
It's crazy.
Have you watched The Boys at all on Amazon?
Yeah, I absorbed that show in a day when it came out.
Yeah, I just watched it while I was packing up to move, and I did the same thing. I watched the first episode one day, and then I watched all of the other episodes the next day.
Yeah, I sat on a couch and I breathed it in. Like, I know it's trashy. Like, I know in my soul it's trashy, but I just love it for whatever reason.
Well, I think rewatching Incredibles 2, having just watched all of the boys, I think I know part of where the problem is it's like Incredibles 2 is predicated off of, if we're setting up in Incredibles 1, hey, superheroes exist and they're back, but the government is like weird about them. Yeah. Incredibles 2 takes that premise and just it doesn't really do a whole lot with it because it just keeps the same sort of cover up down. Like from the first movie, it just zhuzhes it up a little bit and throws a corporate side behind it instead of it being like, oh, they're working for the government. Right. But the boys is the total. It's like the really dark bastardized version of that, where it's like, oh, the superheroes are only corporate, and we need to figure out how to rein them in because they're causing problems. It's like the dark natural progression of what I think could happen in the Incredibles universe. Yeah, well, but it would require Brad Bird to be like not neoliberal, right? I feel bad for making everything political. Let's go for it. I don't give a shit. We did an episode about how the Lion King's fascist a couple weeks ago, so you're fine. I'm not even like a political like comedian. It's just the first thought is like, oh well, he's read Ayn Rand and then he didn't grow up. Right. Like we've all read Ayn Rand when we were 19 and we're like, we're hardworking, and then you're like, yeah, but I also get bread from a baker, so it's just a little bit of going on underneath. like I think Brad Bird read it and then he watched a few of those like All That Jazz. Who's that director? Bob Fosse. Bob Fosse. Yes. He like watched a bunch of those movies and he's like, that's what old entertainment should look like. What it was punk rock back then. You know, and he's like, because there's so many, like, he's a creative dude, right? Because he's like, you're like on a motorcycle and it splits in half, and she's like a rubber band and shit. Yeah, he's clearly got the good, he's a good director. I think he's a very creative individual, and he's done a lot of really cool and good, interesting work. Iron Giant, I love. Ratatouille, I just talked about Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille. But he's also probably like a secret Ben Shapiro fan. Yeah, he's probably like a huge Joe Rogan head. He's like, I mean, he is from Montana, so that definitely ups his stock in that being a possibility. But wait, is that really a thing in Montana? Like, yes, he's. I mean, Montana is. I had a friend of mine who was from Montana. He used to do this joke about Montana. He's like, Montana is 99% white, and that one black guy just passing through, just driving. Trying to get to Idaho. That's funny. I used to live in Provo, Utah, and my friend and I, he's Chinese. We're pretty much like upping the, like at least by 1%, we're upping their racial diversity. Like just moving there. I mean, like just we should get smidge. Just a little bit. We should get like a diversity scholarship at BYU. Yeah, or you should get like a key to the city or something. Like see, or like be on the brochure at least. Yeah, like if community colleges can do it, the Provo, Utah Board of Tourism can also do it. I mentioned I'm gonna be in Provo in like a day or something. Oh, okay. We're going up to Yellowstone. Sorry, I shouldn't mention what I'm doing in my life. But the thing is, like, I feel like Incredibles did something really cool and interesting. Whereas Incredibles 2 had the opportunity to do something really cool and interesting, and instead just settled for cool. Yeah, I think it was like really good. I keep saying spinning plates, but I think that's because I have a weird 50s cartoon brain. But like, it's like it was the first movie was like this guy understanding that the thing that makes him special isn't his like super strength; it's his like family that's also super. You know, it's this guy like accepting almost in a way that he needs to like get out of his own. He like to be a superhero. It's not about his ego. It's about helping other people. So it's about helping himself and his family along the way. You know, right? And then this movie I saw it at the beginning of it as like an evaluation of like I thought it was like proceeding there. It's like, okay, so he still has more work to do. He still has to be. What is he when he's not even a superhero anymore? Can he still be a good person? Mm-hmm. Like, and that felt so like when I was watching it, that felt so fucking like, I'm like, oh, Brad Bird is like evolving as a person. Like right in front, like he's like asking himself a tough, I'm sorry, this isn't funny. Like he's asking himself like a tough question about like morality. He's saying like, can you just be a normal dad? Right. Like, can you is being a dad enough?
that's the hardest thing for that character to do, and it's so excruciating and amazing to watch. I feel like maybe other people were depressed in the theater, but those were like the slice of life moments were the ones that I really liked the most in that movie. Like water coming out of the girl's nose at the diner or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I think maybe as I get older, I'm just into that kind of slice of life stuff. Like, I'm just like, I just want to know how you make your coffee. Like,
well, this is the
like,
problem as dudes, the closer we creep to getting to be dad age, I think the more we appreciate very simple dad stuff.
Yeah, the other day, I said to myself out loud to my girlfriend, like, I'm nailing this pasta salad recipe. Like, I said it in full. I wasn't sarcastic at all. I was like, this is good, and I am good. I
mean, hey, man, I feel that same way anytime I talk about pasta sauce. Whenever I make a good one, I'm like, I think I tweaked the recipe right. I'll chef's kiss myself all day.
Oh, there's something so overwhelming, like a good feeling when you have your own recipe. You know what I mean?
And you don't have to look online to remember what all the shit is. You can just do it by heart.
I come from. I mean, my family will have like. So I mean, I'm Indian, and so like my mom will have like. It'd be funny if you like were like, oh, like
what?
Yeah, that's such a lame joke. I do it all the time. It's such a bad one. I never stop doing it. My mom came from like India, and she would talk about like local people who made like rotis and stuff, and like when I cook food. Why are we talking about this? When I cook food, like I feel like I'm one of like somebody back in her village used to cook it like for her.
I don't know why I thought we were going somewhere, and I don't know where we went just now.
I'm so sorry.
But here's the thing. But I understand. I do. I'm saying that just to, for the joke. But I know where you're coming from, because you like the feeling of accomplishment of like of having something that feels homemade and feels homey and like connects to you. And here's how I'm tying it back to The Incredibles, which I have a point.
Yeah.
The problem with The Incredibles 2 is that it feels like it's something anyone could have cranked out. Yeah. Right? Incredibles 2 is the Chef Boyardee to like the really nice Lydia Bastianich pasta sauce that is Incredibles.
Yeah.
Like Incredibles was great. It was inventive. It was cool. It was a cool take on a superhero story that wasn't really about the superheroes at the end of the day. And then Incredibles 2 is just like, all right, how can we merchandise this and keep something going so the kids of today will remember what these characters looked like when their parents buy them their action figures for Christmas?
Yeah, like it's like those Bon Appetit videos where someone takes like a Chef Boyardee and they go like, let's zhuzh it up, It's still Chef Boyardee at its core.
Rest in peace, Bon Appetit Test Kitchen.
I saw a whole takedown video of Bon Appetit and how like the guy is like racist or whatever.
Adam Rappaport?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's like did blackface, but like how they also like underpaid like minorities and stuff. And I watched the full video essay and I was like, oh, this is very informative. You're still less charming than the Bon Appetit chefs.
Right, that's the thing. At least hire like Sola or Priya or somebody who is actually ousted from the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen, who or not ousted, who left.
Yeah,
but get one of them to do your video explaining the shit for you. Like, come on.
It's the thing with like a lot of like bread tubers, and it's like I love the content, but I'm like, God, you guys just need somebody else to say this stuff. Like they'll do the lamest jokes, and I'm like, I don't want to be on your side.
Yeah, just get like somebody to write it for you a little bit. Come on.
Yeah. It's fine when Jamie Loftus does it because she's fun. But
well, Jamie's fun. That's the thing. Jamie gets it.
Yeah, Jamie's cool, but like it's like hard when it's like when it's just some guy who can't even show their face because they're afraid of the camera. Right. And they're just talking over still images. Yeah, I'm sorry we went
the
so
fewer
far
videos
away.
of the top-down cooking, the better.
Yes, yeah. Well, I like the "you suck at cooking" videos because
those are good.
Those are charming
because those are charming and funny.
Yeah. I've been so obsessed with charisma and charm ever since I've been not able to hang out with strangers. Like, what does it even look like anymore to meet a charming person? Like, I don't know. I can't. It's been so long.
I can't even remember the last time.
It's like we had an interaction with an Armenian man at a grocery store, and it fulfilled me emotionally. Like he gave us yogurt, and I'm like, this is not COVID safe, but it's emotionally fulfilling.
And you know what? The positive emotions will save you.
I'm sorry.
That's not my medical advice at all, but
My point being, going back all the way to Incredibles, it's the human moments in the movies in Pixar films
now that's how you tie it all back together.
It's the human moments in Pixar films that made me fall in love with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still think one of the best movies they made is one of the more recent ones. It's Inside Out. Is that recent? I guess that's 6 years now. But like
that's recent.
That's to me is one of their best movies. Maybe the best movie, because it's like teaches a child that it's okay to be sad sometimes. Mm-hmm. And that's huge.
It teaches adults that it's okay to be sad sometimes. Oh my God. I couldn't even tell you how many parents I would imagine watched that movie with their kids and also learned the same lesson that their child learned.
Just like Bill Burr with his kid going like, oh, I guess I shouldn't stuff it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to watch a Pixar movie that's in the newer realm, go watch Inside Out or watch another Brad Bird classic like Ratatouille or Incredibles. If you want to watch a superhero movie that's animated, go see Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, dude. It's like so cool to I dig movies with morality at the core of them, you know?
Miles morality.
Miles I wish I was better at puns. I'm so charmed by them. The Ayn Rand robot really got me.
Dude, I mean, wordplay is my fucking bread and butter, man. I'm
so bad at them. I'm not good. Like, I can't do it. I don't even believe in pronunciations because of like my mom. Because like I'm like if you got the word, then it exists now. Like
right.
my mom says bicycling instead of bicycling. Here's the thing, though. She's funny because she knows she can get away with saying that word. She knows it's not the right thing to say, but she'll just thicken up her accent a little bit. And then, what are you going to disagree?
Yeah, no one's going to disagree or call her out. You just you let it slide and you smile and you nod.
I'm so sorry for going on tangents.
It's all good. I mean, this is where I would ask you: is there anything that you would do? Maybe not for Incredibles 2. Maybe Incredibles 2 is a lost cause. But if there's an Incredibles 3 and you're in charge of writing it, what's your major plot line? Are we going the Edna mode, it turns on everybody route, or are we going somewhere else?
I think you would make the Invisible Girl a member of Antifa.
There you go.
That would be interesting. I mean, I'm saying it kind of jokingly, but honestly, I would watch that movie. And then Dash is alt-right. And then the children have to deal with these like divergence in like politics in a real way, and like an active they're centrists, and they have to deal with their kids' politics going like this. Like,
I really like that, actually. That's really interesting because Dash also kind of already has the alt-right Richard Spencery haircut as it is.
Yeah. And he's got that kind of ego to him as well. And he wouldn't. It's not that hard for him to be like, I'm great. White people must be great too.
Yeah, like Dash definitely has a Reddit account that he doesn't want you to know about.
That's true.
He's got a lot of what are they called? Alts?
Yeah, alt account. I think
throwaway accounts. Throwaways. That's what they're called.
I remember when they just used to be eggs, like in the pictures, and now they have like anime faces.
Oh yeah.
And I feel shitty because I like anime, so I'm like, why do you appropriate this? Why couldn't the K-pops and the anime switch? Why can't the K-pops be right and the anime be left? But that's my pitch would be like the kids deal, because they are to me political movies when you deal with like billionaires. It's like superheroes have always been political things to me.
Right, yeah.
Like Stan Lee took stances to like back the Black Panthers when it wasn't popular, you know? Like these movies, if they're going to try and deal with big problems with like, I mean, that's the fun of them, right? Is like you get these superhero, I'm sorry for this not being funny again. It's like these superhero muscle bound, like amazing, interesting things. And you like construe it into these pulp stories about like race and misogyny and like gayness and whatever. And I lost the thread, but it's like,
no, but the thread's still there. And I think you're right. I think that superhero movies are a chance to, as they always are, a chance to provide commentary and entertainment.
Yeah.
in a way that's like an easily digestible package.
Yeah, and I love that. I get, that's the thing that gets you to be I think, good person. Like you watch, I mean, Batman's like, I guess, a bad example, but you watch Batman and you're like, well, you just do the right thing. Like, it's like easy enough. You try to defend the right people. You're like, yeah, well, fuck people who are being like racist or homophobic or like that's what they should stand for at their core. It's like, and it's a superhero movie and a children movie that fails at having a moral judgment, which just feels fucking wrong, and that's why I dislike it, and I tied it back.
There you go. Well, Harpal, I appreciate you coming on today and enlightening all of us and helping me remember, hey, Incredibles 2 is actually kind of fine and mediocre even. Not great. But and where can the listeners find you on social media and stuff if they want to argue with you more?
I'm on Twitter at Harpal Khosla, and I'm on Instagram at Khosla Harpal. Don't argue with me on Instagram. That's my safe space.
You could turn comments off now, I think.
Actually, if you could go to my YouTube, I'm doing these like short little NPR parodies that I guess I'm plugging. But
plug. That's what this is for.
Yeah, they're at Harpal Khosla. I got them because not many people have that name. Yeah, they're NPR parodies. I'm kind of proud of them, and they're animated, and they are nihilists, but they're not for kids.
All right, well, go check it out. Go check out Harpal's work, and you can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates, which are all pretty much digital now, but they're happening. And subscribe to the Patreon if you like the show. You want to get bonus episodes, reviews, and Blockbusting Film Club membership, and we can watch movies with me, and it's a fun time. But yeah, that is it. Harpal, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. This has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.